Bongino, a former Secret Service agent and host of the Dan Bongino Show podcast, and Aramesh, a foreign policy and national security analyst. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I've been to Guantanamo Bay. I have seen it. I was a little concerned what the Admiral said when he was talking about need to make sure that everybody's comfortable. I don't think that is necessarily the number one issue, but these are not prisoners. They are detainees. But Ari, what is wrong with Guantanamo Bay? I mean, I fought against Barack Obama and his insistence that we close it. I'm glad it's open. But what say you?
So here's what's happening. You have a facility in Cuba that's housed a number of battleground detainees that were brought in from mainly Afghanistan. These are guys that we picked up on the ground after 9/11. Yeah. The last detainee came here in 2008. Now, as you heard in the report, this is now turning into a nursing home. Camp 7, for instance, this facility is just a mess. There's no room for wheelchairs and so on and so forth. So question is this. We can either sit here and complain, or our commander-in-chief can make a decision. Either fund it, as the Admiral asked for, or bring these guys out, put them on trial, send them to federal prisons. And guess what? Not even one person, people in national security circles cannot even recall a single name from these unknown, forgotten, crazy detainees. Meaning, if John Gotti couldn't run away from a federal prison, I don't think these irrelevant old terrorists can do that either. But having said that, this has provided a lot of ammunition to terrorists and to radicals. So
No. You could have made that case when it first started, but not anymore. We have to have a policy to deal with the enemy combatants. Barack Obama never had such a policy. But Dan, what's your take on what we should do with Guantanamo Bay?
Well, Jason, there's two separate issues here. The first issue the Admiral brings up is a real one. Listen, if we're going to use Guantanamo, which I think is a perfectly viable, usable facility, then it should be secure, and we can't have breaking infrastructure there. Fine. That's one issue, point stipulated, right? But with regards to the medical care and comfort, I don't get it. I don't care. I don't know. That may sound harsh, Jason. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend the cable news audience. But I literally, not figuratively, do not care a bit about the health or comfort of terrorists committed to the destruction of the United States and the murder of innocents. We have millions of people in this country who need back surgery, who need joint replacements, who need kidney replacements. Money zero sum. Every dollar we send over there to take care of a murderous terrorist is a dollar taken out of the healthcare system here that could be used to take care of a kid or take care of someone elderly who's outlived their own funds. This is an outrageous argument. But again,
you know what, Dan? You may not care, Dan. You may not care, and I know you don't care, and that's a fair point. But the U.S. flag and the U.S. Constitution, they care. Let me give you an example.
No.
John Adams cares. John Adams. No. He made the point. He's
look,
the big boy.
I don't have 40 minutes to talk about this, but I got to tell you, I have been there, and those conditions are not as bad. If they said they have a plumbing issue in Camp 7, okay, they got to deal with that. I do think Congress should fund it, but we'll continue the discussion. I got to get to your thoughts on another story from NBC. The network is also under fire this week for a Christmas Day story. The headline reading, quote, Trump becomes first president since 2002 not to visit troops at Christmas time. The problem is the president was on his way to Iraq at the time it was published. And even after it was made public he was there visiting with troops, NBC still didn't change the headline. It took 2 full days for them to even admit they made a mistake, adding an editor's note yesterday that said, in part, the article was correct, but on December 26th, the situation had changed. As a result, the thrust of this article is no longer correct, even if it was at the time. Instead, NBC could have taken down the article. They could have changed it. They waited a few days. They wanted the maximum impact. But, Dan, I got to tell you, the president's taking all kinds of heat for doing something that everybody hoped he would do, which was visit the troops.
Yeah, Congressman, this is a pretty sensitive issue to me. I was a Secret Service agent, and I was a lead advance agent for President Obama's trip in 2010 to a war zone in Afghanistan. Now, what most people don't know, and I wouldn't expect anyone to know this, you haven't done that job specifically. You probably know it having been in Congress. These trips, Congressman, are planned out weeks, if not months in advance. So what's really ridiculous about the crap media and their absolute lack of ethics in this story is while they were writing that story, while some lunatic was typing that thing up, the trip was already being planned over to a war zone. But again, it's the media. Nobody takes them seriously.
Yeah, look, in all fairness, they could have written that story. But the moment they knew it was not true and not accurate, they shouldn't have taken it down. Ari, is that offensive to put some criticism on NBC for waiting 2 full days?
First of all, I don't speak for NBC. So if you make a mistake, you should man up, retract, and correct it. Secondly, the president finally got off his couch after 2 years and visited our troops in combat zones. The guy who didn't go to the World War II Memorial in France, the guy who wouldn't go to Arlington Memorial Day or Veterans Day. That's the guy. No, Jason.
When the Secret Service, you're way out of line. When the Secret Service tells you for security reasons they can't go,
that's not what
the president doesn't go.
You know that's not what they told him. You know that's not what they told him. And you know what? This is a president who does not care.
He loves the troops. And there's a reason why. No, there's a reason why they got such a rousing investigation.
And if he's going to sell some steak to the troops, he's going to go there too. But this is a disgrace of a presidency. He has not been. But let me ask you, Jason. It's a very fair question. Are you proud of him? Are you proud of him?
I am totally proud of the way.
Is that why you didn't endorse him in 2016? I mean, come on, Jason. I mean, you're really proud of Donald Trump as president. You're proud of Donald Trump. You're Trump.
You are way. I'm totally proud.
Being out of line is he makes bad decisions, and you got to as
no. You're way out of line.
You no longer stand in election. Are you proud of Donald Trump and his actions?
Yes, I am totally proud.
You're proud of the way he berates our allies.
We're going to have to go to
look at what happened.
Coming up, college courses.
There you go.
No, you can't just hijack the show.
So James Mattis left. No. You don't want to answer
after 2 years of politics, I got to.